It is Week 11 in the National Football League as your Seattle Seahawks square off against the San Francisco 49ers for the second time in 2024. The Niners got the best of Seattle the first go-round at Lumen Field, and the Seahawks coming off a bye, a two-game losing streak, trying to get back on track with a must-win game against their arch-rival Niners. The Niners, they're about a touchdown favorite, 6.5. The over-under set at 48.5. The Niners, their season's been a little shaky themselves. They're at 5-4, but they have Christian McCaffrey back now. They believe their season is headed upwards from here. Seattle at 4-5. Can they stop the bleeding? And can they prove John Schneider and Mike Macdonald right that they made the right call to move on from Terrell Dodson this week? We'll talk about the keys to victory. We'll go over the injury report. I'll give you my prediction as well coming up at the end of today's show. If you're ready for game day, spam S in the comments section. I want this chat to be as loud as Lumen Field. I need at least 300 S's in the comments section. Get those S's going, and we'll get rolling here on today's show. Let's begin with the injury report for the Seahawks and some notable names not playing this weekend, starting with George Fant. He was placed on injured reserve earlier this week with a knee injury. Kayvon Wallace with an ankle injury, also placed on injured reserve as well. He is out. Noah Fant with the groin injury. He is questionable. And then DK Metcalf with the MCL that's kept him out the last two games. He is questionable as well. And then Abraham Lucas making his return to the football field. It looks like that he's on track, but barring any setbacks, he should be able to play, but still remains questionable. This is as of Wednesday when we recorded this on our live show, by the way. Meanwhile, for the Niners, their injury report a little bit lengthier than Seattle's. Nick Bosa with the hip injury, he is questionable. Corner Renardo Green is also questionable with a toe injury. And then Chris Conley at the wide receiver position, he is questionable with a hamstring injury. Charvarius Ward, personal reasons, questionable there at the cornerback spot. And then Givens at D-tackle with a groin injury, he's questionable. And then George Kittle, also questionable with a hamstring injury. So some skill position players and a couple corners, most notably on the injury report for the San Francisco 49ers there. What's it going to take to beat San Fran? Let's start with our keys to victory. And when we talk about the Niners in recent memory, we have to bring this guy up, Christian McCaffrey. You cannot let Christian McCaffrey beat you. He has, I'm going to be frank with y'all, I hate to admit this, he has owned the Seattle Seahawks. And not just in his time in San Francisco, but he ran all over the Seahawks when he was in Carolina as well. In CMC's career, he's averaged about 19 carries per game for 115.8 yards, 1.2 touchdowns, and he's been impactful in the receiving game as well with 6 yards per catch. CMC's been a problem for the Seahawks to defend. Even without CMC, when these two teams met back in October, they still ran the ball extremely well against the Seahawks defense. So if you're Seattle, you have to do whatever it takes to take away Christian McCaffrey and limit his capabilities. McCaffrey made his season debut against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this could be good for the Seahawks as McCaffrey did not do much. He was held to 13 carries for 39 yards and just 3 yards a carry, but you could argue that he might be due for a big game potentially here against Seattle after a slow start against Tampa Bay this past week. Who do you got? You going with Seattle or you going with San Francisco? Type C for Seahawks, type SF for San Francisco. I don't want to see any Niners in the chat. Get the C's going. I want to see as many as possible. C for Seahawks. Show up and show out. Let us know. I'll give you my prediction coming up later on. We'll be live right here on Seahawks Today for Seahawks and Niners. Our coverage begins at 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern. I'll be here. Big Tex is going to be here in the house with me as well as we'll do our hour-long pregame. We'll react to the game in real time, have a few drinks on hand. It is going to be a great time. If you can't make it out to Santa Clara, don't worry. This is going to be the place you want to be. Hang out with the 12s and join us for a watch party coming up this Sunday live at 12 o'clock Pacific time right here on Seahawks Today. We will see you then. Up next, let's talk about the quarterback position for the Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith. And I'll say this. This is not even necessarily about Geno directly. This is about protecting the quarterback and Geno Smith. This has been a problem for the Seahawks all season long as they have had their struggles when it comes to keeping Geno clean and giving him time to just get the football off. The sack rate that the Seahawks have allowed this season, hide the women and children, folks, this isn't pretty, 7.55%. That's 20th best in the NFL. Yikes. Geno's been sacked a total of 28 times. He might need to visit a chiropractor because that back has got to be killing him with as much as he's been on his ass this season, thanks to that O-line. Luckily, though, help is on the way by way of Abraham Lucas. We mentioned him. He's still on the injury report, technically, but the expectation at the time of this recording is that Abraham Lucas will play. Now, how much will he play? That remains to be seen. But nonetheless, getting Abraham Lucas back will be big. The last time we saw him at full strength, you go back to his rookie season, he was solid. 68.5 overall grade, 69.6 pass block grade, and a 65.1 run block grade. The hope is that you don't just get the rookie version of Abraham Lucas, but that he builds upon the rookie version, that he's even better, that he takes those steps forward, similar to what Charles Cross has done compared to their rookie campaigns. Number 3, let's talk about the veteran in the wide receiver position. That is Tyler Lockett. Don't know what DK is going to look like on Sunday, if he's going to be up to full speed or not, and what his limitations could be. JSN has had his flashes. He was really good against the Rams, and then he was MIA the week prior to that. Tyler Lockett, old reliable, needs to be counted upon. And Tyler Lockett, to his credit, has played pretty well over the years against the San Francisco 49ers. You go back to week 6 against San Fran. He had 4 catches, 65 yards, over 11 yards of reception, 1 touchdown. If that's the stat line he puts up Sunday, I can live with that. I would be more than okay with that. But you got to find ways to get him involved. You can't just ignore Tyler Lockett. So far this season, Lockett has accounted for nearly 500 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'd like to see him get in the end zone a little bit more. His yards per catch, about 13.4 yards per catch so far this season. More Tyler Lockett. Continue to feed him, and I hope that he has a big game. Who will be Seattle's MVP against the San Francisco 49ers? Is it going to be Tyler Lockett? Is it going to be somebody else? Get in the chat right now and let us know who you think will be the Seahawks MVP. Before we go any further in today's show, let's tell you about our sponsor. That is Public Rec. I am wearing their fantastic shirt. Obviously, it looks good, but it feels good too, folks. Let's be real, guys. Wearing nice pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric squeezing your family jewels was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to make you stay comfy and classy this season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but tailored like tailored pants. Yep, super stretchy with an elastic waistband so you can rock them anywhere. Give the gift of comfort to yourself or someone you love this holiday season with Public Rec's Daymaker pants. And for a limited time, you can get 20% off your entire order with code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. Not only do I love it, I believe in this, folks. My family, my relatives, I'm going to be getting them Public Rec for their Christmas presents this holiday season. We're all going to be styling and profiling in Public Rec, folks. Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants ever made, but they have a huge selection of high-quality everyday basics. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with their perfect-fitting polos, shorts, and hoodies. Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season for a limited time only. Our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you found Public Rec. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Up next, let's talk Devon Witherspoon. Will the real Devon Witherspoon please step up? It sounds wild to say, but Devon Witherspoon has not played that great, in all honesty, over the last few weeks. And I mentioned Devon Witherspoon because he's the de facto leader of this secondary. It's really the secondary as a whole that needs to do a better job. And you think about with this Niners team, what are they so good at with the weapons that they have, with all those skill position players? It's the explosive plays. And so far in 2024, the Seahawks are undefeated, 4-0, when allowing less than 7 explosive plays this season. That's best in the NFL. So if you're Devon Witherspoon, as the leader of this defense, I need him and I need the other guys to step up and not give up the explosive plays. If they can do that, that's going to go a long ways in giving this Seattle Seahawks defense a chance to win this football game. You look at what Devon Witherspoon's done this year, and it's been a bit underwhelming. 51 tackles, only 1 TFL, 3 pass breakups, hasn't had an interception yet. I'm looking for Devon Witherspoon. I need Spoon to step up, avoid those big plays, and also if he can create a turnover or two, that'd be great to see. But I want to see more out of Devon Witherspoon this week. Number 5, I always find a way to bring up Kenneth Walker. And this week for me, I feel like I've almost given up on the run game. If it were up to me, yeah, I would run the damn ball. You guys know that. That's been a common theme of this show for the last several weeks. I want the run game to work, but I have a sneaky suspicion it won't because the Seahawks offensive line is so questionable and Ryan Grubb's done a bad job, and you guys get the idea. So what I'm saying is I would like to get creative with Kenneth Walker, whether it's figuring out some new ways to run the football or using him in the passing game. Find ways to get him involved even if the run game isn't there. Since 2023, Seahawks running backs have averaged 78.1 rushing yards per game. That's 5th worst in the NFL. The Seahawks are struggling to run the football. If the run game's not there, well, why not use Kenneth Walker in the passing game more? He's a pretty decent receiver. He's got 217 receiving yards so far this season to go along with 400 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Whether it's running the football or whether it's using him in the passing game, Kenneth Walker needs to get touches. You need to get the ball in this man's hands in some way, shape, or form. And you think about the passing game, too, with this Seahawks team. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, they're struggling to pass protect, which would not be a shock to anybody at this point. Well, that's where the screen passing game comes involved. And look who it is. Kenneth Walker. Get the ball in this man's hands. Get creative with it. Do you believe in K9? Is K9 going to step up this week? If you believe, type B for believe. If you don't, type D for don't. Get in the comment section. Let us know. All right, I got my prediction coming up in just a few moments, but let's recap our keys to a Seahawks victory. Number 1, don't let Christian McCaffrey beat you. 2, got to protect Geno Smith. 3, need to feed Tyler Lockett. 4, the real Devon Witherspoon's got to step up. Can't be giving up the explosive plays and get creative with Kenneth Walker. With all that said, maybe I'm delusional, but I think Seattle finds a way to get it done. Backs against the wall. It's a must-win game. You got to win this to stay alive in the playoff hunt. I'm going with the Seahawks 25-22. Call me crazy, but the Niners have not looked like their old selves. I think Seattle can find a way to steal this game and get it done. If you're ready for a Seahawks win, if you believe, you want to see it happen, spam W in the comments section. Get those W's going if you want a Seahawks win, and we'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.